Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. Get some weed and now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the Penny Bloom Dispatch. We've got a fun show today. We've got entertainment. We got a little archaeology. We got some sports, and I'm very, very excited. In entertainment, we're going to go over a few pieces of Star Wars news, a few rumors for upcoming things. Venice Film Festival is going on, concludes tomorrow, and I've got some fun stuff coming out of there that I'm excited to talk about, and then some upcoming projects that have been reported, and we've gotten some more details on. When it comes to archaeology, what's the headline there? What do you got for me?
We got Karahan Tepe. I kind of talked about Göbekli Tepe last time, but just one of the oldest known made human structures ever.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it gets weird.
So
that's for sure. But
I'm excited. We got that coming up later, and then we'll conclude the show with sports, where we'll talk the Chiefs-Ravens results. I'll do my first NFL Week 1 picks, and I'm very, very excited for that. And then we'll go over briefly. We don't have to get into it too deeply. Me and Joe both have our fantasy teams in our family football leagues, so I'm very, very excited for that. But if you would, stick with us. I think you'll like the show. I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George today. What's up, buddy?
Oh, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. I'm so very excited to dig in today because entertainment is loaded with some good stuff. But we're going to start on a lower note, which is a little sad. Rich Homie Quan died.
What?
Yeah, yesterday, Rich Homie Quan died. I was like just random piece of news, like crucial to my high school music listening years was Rich Homie Quan, and I get a notification yesterday. Rich Homie Quan dies at 34. No cause has been announced. I'm like, what the fuck?
This is the first time hearing of it completely.
Yeah, Rich Homie Quan passed away. Obviously, major music artist. Flex, ooh. One of my favorite songs of all time.
Oh my God.
Lifestyle. I done did a lot of shit just to live this here lifestyle.
Dang.
You know, that shit. That
high school,
yeah.
I mean, defining music right there. That is, man, I'm going to have to listen to some now. But it's going to have a whole different feeling.
No, it is. It is. It's sad, man. But yeah, I just wanted to get that out at the top of the show because, man, I fucked with Rich Homie Quan in high school. I hadn't listened to him in a while, but sadly, it did cause me to go ahead and revisit some of the tunes that I did listen to. For the first time in a couple years, and man. He had some good fucking music, man. So I just wanted to get that out at the top. And on the flip side of things, to conclude that, R.I.P. Rich Homie Quan. That's really sad. That's really sad. Way too young. And prayers for his family because that's fucking sad, man. But on the flip side of things, I wanted to go over some of. I don't usually do this. But there was just an abundance that needed to be mentioned. The first week of September, the famous birthdays that fall in the first week of September are absurd. And I don't know if every week is kind of absurd. I don't usually check this, but I'm willing to go with the concept that this might be the best week of celebrity birthdays there is.
You found peak the first week of September.
I feel like I just every day I felt like I saw something that was like, today is this person's birthday, and I was like, what the fuck? Okay. So first we'll start with someone who's no longer alive to celebrate their birthday, but Freddie Mercury. Freddie Mercury's birthday is in the first week of September. That's a pretty big one. The rest, we got Noah Baumbach. the great director and writer of Marriage Story, co-wrote Barbie, married to Greta Gerwig. A great filmography, and a lot more I could go into there. Werner Herzog, I Want to See the Baby, Show Me the Baby. Michael Keaton.
Okay.
Salma Hayek.
Okay.
Idris Elba. Okay, now here's where it gets fucking crazy. Zendaya. Beyonce.
Oh.
Keanu Reeves.
Oh.
Goat shit there at the end.
When was it? Did his already pass?
Yes, it did. It was a couple days ago. Turned 60. Which is a big one. Keanu turned 60.
Good for 60.
Yeah, looks great. Good. Looks great. I actually watched a Keanu movie last night. I watched a movie called, funny enough, after our topic last week, called Destination Wedding. It also had Winona Ryder in it, and it's cute. It's cute. I've been on a little Winona Ryder kick because Beetlejuice comes out today. And I watched Beetlejuice for the first time the other day, and I was like, you know what? I love Winona Ryder. I need to watch more of her movies. So that kind of led me there. She's been in like 4 fucking movies with Keanu, so I need to knock all those off my list. But yeah, they have a cute. One of the headlines I saw a couple days ago was like a story about Winona Ryder and Keanu Reeves that they like call each other husband and wife, and they'll like text each other on each other's birthdays, like "Hello, husband, happy birthday," thank you, wife. It's a funny, just a funny tradition they have. But so. Happy birthday, Keanu Reeves. You're one of the founding basis for this podcast. One of our first episodes has Keanu Reeves in the fucking title. But so I just wanted to draw some attention to that we had some pretty great celebrity birthdays this week. But with that, we can actually get on into the more important things, like some Star Wars news. We've got Natasha Liu Bordizzo, the on-screen actress for Sabine Wren, confirming that Ahsoka Season 2 will begin filming in the summer of 2025. Which I don't know if you can do the math there, but they're going to begin filming 2 years after Season 1 aired.
And then how long does it take to wrap filming, post-production, and release?
That means we are not getting Season 2 of an 8-episode season for 3 years after the first season concluded, which is just kind of absurd.
And we're going to have a movie in there, and then Mando Season 4 maybe, probably before that. And yeah, I'm lost. I'm not going to lie. I'm lost in the weeds of everything coming out, but I'm going to watch it. I know that, but it's I don't know. It's getting a little confusing.
It's getting annoying. Yeah, it's a little rough. It's a little tough to keep up with. But I am fascinated by the story they now have set up there, and I would like to see what happens next. It took a little bit to get there for me, but now I'm like, now the story I really want to know. Because now we're in a territory that I feel like could actually be the Ahsoka sequel series. The last season kind of felt like Rebels Season 5. Now I feel like we are in a place where we can actually do an Ahsoka show, which is
a new galaxy. Yeah, like they can do anything they want now, and I don't know. I hope they use that opportunity. I hope it is cool. I hope it feels just a little bit different than Season 1. But yeah, no, I remember theorizing like crazy with all the World Between Worlds and all that. So yeah, I'm and Thrawn's there. We got fun. We got
fun. So, I'm ready for it. But in other news, it was funny because Dragon Con was this past week. One of the bigger like Comic-Con-esque conventions was going on. So Manny Jacinto, Natasha Liu Bordizzo, all these Star Wars people were saying things this last week because they were there, and obviously for the Acolyte team members, it might have been a little bit more odd. But Manny Jacinto told the audience that it is now his personal mission to get Season 2 of the Acolyte made. He says he's doing everything he can to see if he can't make that happen.
good on him. He's getting a lot of a lot of people are gonna hate on him. I feel like for that, and that's I feel bad for him.
He's incredibly, like I think it's cool to see the way that him and Amanda Stenberg, like she posted a video last week also, about 7-8 minute video of her talking about the cancellation and her going over it and kind of why it happened and how she feels about it. And she said, or they said, I'm not exactly surprised, ever since the show was conceptualized, not even actually a trailer or anything, we've been receiving ridiculous amounts of hate. And so it's just been interesting to see the way Amanda Stenberg, that they handled it, and the way Manny Jacinto is handling it. And I have faith that there will be something else there. I don't know about season 2, but someone brought up a really, really good point about like having spin-off material for the Acolyte in different mediums. Like someone was like, it's so intrinsically tied to Leslie Headland as a creator. Are you gonna make her write a fucking comic book? You know what I'm saying? Like, and not to diminish comic books in any way, but like she's a television writer. Like that's what she does. So it is interesting, and I hope there's more story to tell there, and I know there is more story to tell there. I just hope that we actually get it done, because Manny Jacinto specifically, I can't blame him for being like, yeah, I'm gonna make sure we can fucking do this thing because this role is fucking cool. This is fucking
I don't
sick.
Blame him, man. Yeah, I feel that would be the best. I don't know. Maybe not to be a Sith. I think ideally I would want to be a Jedi.
Right. But if there's a runner-up, it's probably that.
Yeah. You're like
in
one
fact,
of two.
Being
a
Sith would probably be cooler, because we've had like live action like 9.
Yeah.
8,
not many.
6.
Jedi, we don't know the number actually. Attack of the Clones really just spikes that up.
We've seen a ton of them.
It doesn't. I don't know. So you could be right, but man, I like that he's standing up for it though. I like that he's like, fuck. I'm proud of my work. I want to do more.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, so I hope his efforts bear fruit. But I thought that was notable. But lastly, semi Star Wars related, Ewan McGregor will receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame next week, which is cool. Dude's had a great career. Obviously Star Wars, but beyond Star Wars, even he's done some incredible stuff with Train Spotting and Big Fish and just all sorts of Moulin Rouge, a bunch of great stuff that I think he is more than deserving of a spot on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, as they be throwing those fucking spots out like fucking candies. So like Ewan McGregor better get one at some point, you know what I'm saying?
I don't think it's what got him his star, but it blows my mind every time I watch the movie that in Robots he's Rodney Copperbottom, and I just don't hear him at all, and I just but it makes me feel good. No, he's finally got his star.
What clinched him this was his role as Ronan Sionis 4 years ago in Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. That's my headcanon, is that they saw him in that and were like, you know what, this guy's got it. It took 25, 26 years for them to see it, but once they saw it, and it was in Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. Okay, that's where I'm at. But speaking of Ewan McGregor, we can move on into the rumors section, which is a fun little thing. Josh Brolin has reportedly been offered the role of Hal Jordan in the Lanterns series for DC at Max, which is pretty interesting. If he declines, the role will be offered to Matthew McConaughey or Ewan McGregor. I see this as a 3-way win here. I think that they're all a little old. It's kind of interesting that this is the route they're going for the Lanterns in the DCU, because they already casted Guy Gardner, and it's Nathan Fillion. So that's one of the Lanterns down. And this is according to the Insider. Take it with a fucking grain of salt. This is not... He also reported this week that the third Knives Out movie has a $210 million budget, which there's no fucking shot that's true.
What could they be doing?
Yeah.
What is that?
The first two cost $40 million. I'm sorry. The third one is not $210 million.
You know what?
If Rian Johnson manages to get them to give him that much money, I'll take it. I don't mind.
Did the first two, did they profit a lot, though?
No, the second one went straight to fucking Netflix.
Oh, that's right. It was a COVID movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the first one I think it did pretty well, but it wasn't it didn't make I don't think it made enough to be like, well, we can give this a $200 million budget, especially considering Netflix will not give it a wide release. Sorry. That's a different rumor. But same guy reported it, but that's just a really good, that's why, I don't 100% trust the information this guy gives. He gets it right sometimes. He gets it wrong plenty, so it's one of those things where it's worth talking about because it's interesting, but yeah, Josh Brolin was offered Hal Jordan, and you would have seen Hal Jordan on screen previously in 2011, when Ryan Reynolds played him in the Green Lantern film.
Yeah, I try to forget about it as much as I can. I don't like to think about it there, but yeah, definitely a very interesting take on just
they're
the age.
Taking giant fucking swings there. I'll tell you that.
I mean, I saw I opened Twitter and I see Michael Caine. I don't know, and I see that he's gotten casted for one of the Robins. I don't know, basically, and just. I think it was maybe off of this news as to why is Hal Jordan so old, and then they're casting everyone old maybe. So maybe that makes sense now. But
I mean, they're all fucking. If not, I think Josh Brolin's close to 60, pushing 60, and the other two are mid-50s. So that's Robert Downey Jr. taking the role as Dr. Doom and being 60, and it's. How about we try... I understand that we're launching a universe, so you want star power out the gate. You want to get people in seats. That's what you want to do. This is a television show.
Yeah.
I'm we could probably... Unless the idea is that we are passing it on to lesser-known characters quickly. You know what I'm saying?
He...
I mean, he would do at least a season of the show, or maybe two, or something, and then he
finds his next successor.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's here's the new young gun. That could be. I think that
could be interesting. It's worth speculating on. However, these dudes are also in ridiculous shape and have ridiculous amounts of money. They could play this role for another fucking 5-10 years and be fine.
How much was RDJ offered for Doom?
$90 million.
Okay, I was gonna say I thought it might have been $200 million, and then I was thinking the Knives Out movie was equivalent to Robert Downey Jr.'s budget.
No, Robert Downey Jr. got paid $90 million to come back. The creator cost $80 million. If you want an entire film budget off the top of my head, that's that.
It just boggles my mind every time I think about it.
It's a money laundering scheme, dude. It's ridiculous over there. But so Josh Brolin offered the role of Hal Jordan, apparently, and if he declines, they also have Matthew McConaughey and Ewan McGregor in mind. McConaughey would be the choice. It's insane that they went to Josh Brolin first, but for that character specifically, I think he just fits, and I feel like Ewan McGregor is the most likely to accept and actually do it. So that's the other thing, is that I don't think Josh Brolin's gonna give this a fucking, if it's true, I don't think it's gonna fucking happen.
If it is Matthew McConaughey, I am headcanoning for sure that the end of Interstellar, when he goes out into space, he becomes Hal Jordan from that point on.
Yeah, that's true.
And he was a pilot before, on Earth, whatever.
Yeah. Good take.
Could be cool, but I'm fine with either. Either of those three, I guess.
But another rumor coming out of DC is that being eyed to direct a film is Luca Guadagnino, who did Challengers, Call Me By Your Name, Suspiria. A superhero film would be wildly outside the realm of what he's done previously, which I pray to fucking God this is true, and it is kind of indicative of the way James Gunn wants to run his universe. I think if he's willing to cede control to really, really good filmmakers and let them fucking cook, I think that would be really exciting. And it's not, like, it would be really cool if it's just like, we want auteurs making good movies. Like, maybe it's just one movie. It's not even connected to anything. It's just you make a fucking movie, and that's that, And I read that somewhere that the Justin Kuritsky's is being eyed to write the script, who did Challengers also. So, like, they like Challengers, apparently. So, like, I hope that can happen. I think that would be really cool.
When the MCU was being made and they got other directors and stuff to come in, was it like they were at the time also big and they're like, hey, just try this out? Or was it...
Not like, particularly. Jon Favreau directed a couple of the first two. Joe Johnston directed the first Avenger, who was notable but not nearly as big a deal as Luca Guadagnino. Arguably the biggest deal, Jon Favreau, but Kenneth Branagh was a pretty big get for Thor. He'd done a lot of Shakespeare adaptations. He'd won Oscars. Like it was a relatively big deal.
Yeah, this feels different. Much different.
Yeah, I'm like, this Luca Guadagnino is head and shoulders above those guys as far as fame at present. And I think the social media era and the way it's evolved kind of affects that. But, Kenneth Branagh was a pretty big deal. I don't want to undersell how big of a deal he was, but I have a tough time believing it was as big a deal as Luca Guadagnino is.
Man. Yeah, I trust in James Gunn. I don't know. I feel like I'm just gonna have complete faith until it's bad, and I don't think it will be I
don't think it will be either. I tend to trust him. We got Creature Commandos coming in December, the first actual DCU thing. I'm very exciid for that.
Yeah.
That's an aside. That's already been announced, but I'm excited. So I think that concludes DC news, or rumors. But we also have another rumor, Challengers related, that Mike Faist is said to be leading the next Hunger Games film as a young Haymitch Abernathy, and Haymitch was played by Woody Harrelson in the original Hunger Games movies. He'd be playing a young Woody.
Okay. Man, it's been so long since I've watched those movies. I do have the first four on physical, so eventually I do got to get to them. But is there only one movie after the Mockingjay Part 2? Is that the new one that just dropped,
and it's a prequel. Okay. It's a prequel about a young President Snow. Yes. And so they're playing with that now, is they're going into prequel territory, and they're, so it's kind of fun knowing, like, as far as what they'd be telling a story about there, it's the time Haymitch won the Hunger Games.
Ooh.
Which would be cool. And I've never read the books, which is, but I actually do quite like the movies. I still need to watch Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I heard that's really good. I like Rachel Zegler a lot. So, like, I need to get around to it. But this was exciting. I like Mike Faist. I want to see him booked and busy. So I liked hearing that. But that'll bring me to the musings from the Venice Film Festival. The Venice Film Festival has been going on for about a week, and it concludes tomorrow. But I wanted to give a little bit of insight as to what is now my most anticipated shit. What I am most excited about. And since we are already talking Challengers pretty heavy, I'll go with Luca Guadagnino's movie that premiered there, Queer. It looks, as expected, fucking awesome. I'm very excited for this movie. It's led by Daniel Craig and Drew Starkey, featuring Jason Schwartzman in the cast. It's written by Justin Kuritsky's, same writer as Challengers. It's scored by Reznor and Ross, same composers as Challengers. Ooh. It's shot by Sayambu Muktipram, same cinematographer as Challengers. And it is based on the novel of the same name by William S. Burroughs, who is an incredible writer. I've been reading a little bit more of his stuff. In fact, I'm 2 chapters deep into Queer as it stands. And I'm very, very excited for this movie. This is at the top of my list as far as what I'm most excited for, especially coming off of Challengers. Obviously, my favorite movie of the year. I want to watch this movie real bad. It's got Jason Schwartzman. It's got Daniel Craig. It's the same team that did Challengers. I'm pretty sure it's edited by the same person. I'm fucking there. I'm absolutely sad. And I can't fucking wait. But, so that's top of the list. Next up, a movie that I had not heard about at all. And then Venice Film Festival was like, so that's the fucking movie you need to be looking out for. Is Brady Corbett's The Brutalist. It's led by Adrian Brody, featuring Felicity Jones and Guy Pearce. And the synopsis is, a visionary architect, Laszlo Toth, and his wife, Erzsébet, flee post-war Europe in 1947 to rebuild their legacy and witness the birth of modern America. Their lives are changed forever by a mysterious and wealthy client. It's 3.5 hours. It's apparently just an absolute epic. I've seen someone liken it to a new modern, it's one of our next modern classics. It feels like the successor to There Will Be Blood is what I read somewhere, and that There Will Be Blood kind of felt like that to Godfather. So like, as far as, and that's building a lot of hype, but apparently it's being very, very, very well received. And I like Adrian Brody a lot, and I'm excited to see him do something good that's not by Wes Anderson. Because I mean, I love him in Wes Anderson movies, and I tend to like him in other spots. But typically those other spots that I like him in aren't incredible movies. You know, like I like the King Kong, Peter Jackson King Kong movie a lot.
That's what I was thinking.
And he's pretty solid in that. You know, nothing incredible, but he's pretty solid in it. I just watched Predators. It's one of the Predator films, the one that came out in 2010. Incredible cast. Ridiculous cast. Terrible fucking movie. But fun. It's a fun time. I don't want to undersell it that bad. But yeah, Adrian Brody being in something that looks like it is going to get awards buzz and actually has him now kind of being touted as a potential Best Actor Oscar winner.
Whoa. Yeah, I see. I mean, this is just a Letterboxd review, but he says it will be studied alongside Casablanca, Vertigo, and Citizen Kane. So that's some pretty high praise.
That's pretty high praise, you know. So I hadn't heard a fucking lick about it, and then they were like, so this is going to be the greatest movie of all time. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm there. I'm set. You know, so The Brutalist, coming soon. We will likely not be able to see it for months. Yeah, The Brutalist. Next up, I've got Pedro Almodovar's new The Room Next Door. I'm a big fan of Pedro Almodovar. I love Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down. He did the short film last year with Pedro Pascal and Ethan Hawke, The Strange Way of Life. Where they play gay cowboys. Went and saw that in theaters and loved it. But The Room Next Door is set to star Julianne Moore and Tilda Swinton, who are both fucking awesome. Love both of those actresses with all my heart. The synopsis is, Ingrid and Martha, played by Julianne Moore and Tilda Swinton respectively, were close friends in their youth when they worked together at the same magazine. After years of being out of touch, they meet once again in an extremely strange but sweet situation. I'm excited for this. I love Pedro Almodovar, and I love Tilda Swinton, and I love Julianne Moore. And since it is Pedro Almodovar, it's going to be weird. It's going to be a little psychosexual. It's going to be fun, a little dark, a little fucking creepy. I'm excited. Really, really ready for that. The Room Next Door. It also received the longest standing ovation of the festival at 17 minutes.
Dude, no way! What?
Yeah,
no way.
The culture at the film festivals is so fucking funny. it always gets, every year there is so much buzz around the length of standing ovations, and it always fucking kills me. It's so funny.
I mean, 1 minute is crazy. Like, that's a long, like 1 minute of straight up cheering is actually like, that's kind of long.
Yeah,
but to do
17 minutes.
What? Like,
a 17 which was the longest of the festival as of yet. It was the longest of the festival. People like to use
just there
it
with
as
a timer that just
every year somebody is measuring the fucking standing ovations. And it's funny because 17 minutes is ridiculous, but what you think is already a long standing ovation is considered shit. You know, like, it's like you are getting a standing ovation at the film festival. If you don't, you might as well they're gonna take you out back and shoot you in the fucking head. You know, like, that if you don't get a standing ovation, that's what's gonna happen. But yeah, so I'm really excited for that. It got really well received. And I'm very, very ready to see that movie. But I'm gonna conclude it with one of the funnier fucking things at the film festival, which is that John Watts' new film. John Watts did the Spider-Man trilogy of Tom Holland. His new film, Wolves, starring Brad Pitt and George Clooney, received a 4-minute standing ovation, which at the Venice Film Festival is the same thing as getting kicked in the knees and spat on.
4 minutes is bad?
Yeah, 4 minutes is fucking awful. You're shooting for 5 minimum. That's the goal here.
What? I mean, is it just so? Is it just the audience knows so much that the time of the standing ovation matters? So they're literally like timing themselves. Like,
it's possible that the culture has become like that. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I also don't know how the ovation works. If it's just like the movie ends, everybody stands and they just like look at the people. Because like you'll see videos and it's like the people who made the movie standing and they're like looking around, waving and stuff. They're smiling. And this one was funny because George Clooney and Brad Pitt, it looked like they could tell.
Oh,
you know. It looked like George Clooney stood up and was like, "Well, shit!" Like they just saw the final cut of their movie and were like, "All right," which is funny. But yeah, I like George Clooney a lot. Not a huge Brad Pitt guy, but another piece of news which I actually did not take down here is that Ocean's 14 is in the works officially. George Clooney set to return as Danny Ocean, and Brad Pitt set to reprise his role. And they're looking to have Edward Berger, the director of All Quiet on the Western Front, major Oscar-winning movie from a couple years ago, direct it, which is unfortunate because Steven Soderbergh directed all 3 of the first movies, and it's his movies. So it's a little bit of doing Indiana Jones without Steven Spielberg. It'll probably be fine, but like, what do we want here? You know, what do we want?
It seems maybe this is like the trial run. I don't know. It's some high crime. They're together. Maybe they're just like, all right, get the juice back, and then we'll go for Ocean's 14.
Exactly.
But
yeah, so
4 minutes.
4 minutes
shitty review. That's crazy.
Kicked in the knees and spat on, essentially. Yeah, that concludes the Venice Film Festival segment. There was a lot more that premiered, but those were some of the notable things. I wanted to give you the contrast of the 17 versus 4 and show you how big of a difference that is. But we also got some news on some upcoming projects, and this is the last little bit for entertainment. One of the things that we know for sure is that we're getting a series coming to Hulu in 2025 set in the Alien universe. It's called Alien Earth. It follows a group who make a fateful discovery when exploring a crashed space vessel, and it's set 30 years before the first Alien film. I have little faith that this will be great. But I don't. It will be entertaining, and I will watch. The thing is that the Alien franchise is already so marred by so many inconsistencies that I don't know how they're going to play with the lore of like the prequel Prometheus and Covenant. I don't think it's going to hold up, which is funny. Which is fine. You know, I don't really give a shit, but I just don't want it to be I want it to be its own thing. I want it to be unique. It's something that, like, it's probably the only downfall of one of the only downfalls of Romulus for me was that it was like obviously ripping an aesthetic that previously existed, whereas most of the Alien movies were visually and creatively very, very unique. So I'm hoping it's unique, and it's the only thing. It's the only one that'll be set on Earth. None of them are on Earth, so like, could be interesting. It'll be interesting, but that's one you can be expecting to hear about. It does have a pretty cool cast though. It's going to star Sidney Chandler, Timothy Olyphant, and Alex Lothar. And Alex Lothar was Nemec in Andor. Timothy Olyphant is obviously Timothy Olyphant. He's been all over the place. But he plays Cobb Vanth in Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett and all that. So I was looking for the thing you would know for sure who I was talking
about.
There it is.
There it is. Yeah, Star Wars is a good go-to.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So got that coming in 2025. We got some news about Cary Fukunaga's next movie, who is a really, really talented director. Did Maniac for Netflix with Jonah Hill and Emma Stone a couple years back. Really fun show. Really weird show, but Tom Hardy and Aaron Taylor Johnson will star in his next movie, his next crime thriller titled Blood on Snow. The film follows a hitman on the run in the middle of a gang war after failing to do a job, which is just a classic premise. Love that premise. And it's Tom Hardy and Aaron Taylor Johnson, so it's kind of like, what's not to like here? I'm there for it. And then lastly, David Fincher will reportedly direct a Western crime thriller called Bitterroot for Netflix, which is the highlight here of the upcoming projects. Super excited about this. Sucks that he's got so in bed with Netflix. I'd like if his movies got theater releases anymore, but they don't, and that's fine. It follows an elderly rancher whose life savings has been stolen. Determined to get his money back, he begins robbing banks and hunting down the thieves, all while being pursued by his son, the town sheriff, which is fucking cool. That's so fucking sick. That is a brilliant, brilliant premise for a movie. So I'm absolutely there. And that's all the fun stuff there. David Fincher, I love Fincher. I think he's a great director, and him doing a Western crime thriller, like let's do it. I'm in. That's kick ass. So yeah, that's entertainment. That's what I got for us. If you would like to take it away with archaeology, I invite you to do so, my friend.
All right. This is I talked about Göbekli Tepe last time, and it was just a kind of a brief. They were covering it up and not doing a lot of work there, and I was kind of wondering why. And then I got down to the Karahan Tepe, which is it's in the same area. It's still in Turkey, and it's a sister site to Göbekli Tepe, and this is the one that they're actually digging and doing a lot of work in and going kind of hard in, versus Göbekli Tepe seems to just be kind of the tourist attraction now, and they're not really doing much work there. But it seems that there's more weird stuff at Karahan Tepe, and specifically around penises, which is the weird part. So I mean, there's
phallus.
There's figures of people carved out of stone, and many of them are holding their dick, and it erect too, it holding like a boner, or just they got their hand over their dick, or and so just it's all over. They're all over, even at Göbekli Tepe too. Göbekli Tepe is more like animals out of the stones and stuff like that, but over here it's a bunch of humans and a bunch of dicks, which is just very weird. And so there's this big community building kind of in the middle of the site, which is huge. It's about 59 football fields equivalent. I don't know. They gave a number of 35 hecta-acres, and I'm like, how the heck am I supposed to know what a hecta-acre is?
How the hecta? Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
But 59 football fields, that's a pretty big area.
That is, wow.
And yeah, so I mean, and they've only actually uncovered about 10% of it. So it's still actually really small, but they're getting it's in the middle of this town, and they have the big community building that they're uncovering, which the weirdest part of this building is this other little room that has these little bedrock pillars that are carved out of the ground. They carved this room, dug this room, and then these pillars they weren't placed there. They were just carved around, just straight up out of the bedrock. And some people think that they are penises as well.
Right.
They kind of resemble them a little bit, and it's not so crazy to think that because all the rest of the penises around.
There's a distinctively phallic shape to these for sure, and there's a little bit of a like knob thing going on at the top, which doesn't. There's a
little. They do resemble them a little bit, but this room has like been the crux of. What the fuck were these people doing is like the conversation is people are trying to figure out like the purpose of this building. And because this penis room, I guess we'll call it the penis room for now, next to it, attached to it, is this other little kind of just shallow dug pit, but then there's a really deep pit dug in it, and it seems... It's empty now, but it really feels that this was full of liquid at some point. Like it was full of water or something, because there's like streams. There's a channel that's carved from this other pit that goes into the penis room. So it might have been filled with water. There's also this creepy ass head that's carved out of the bedrock in the penis room too. I don't know if you can see it. I sent you one picture of the penis. Yeah. You kind of got to zoom in to see the head, but it's like... It's very weird, and it's just kind of staring into the room.
Yeah.
So some people think that this is kind of like a
room?
Maybe not. I guess that's kind of a weird thing to think. Yeah, it's like that dude's just watching them, but like a introduction to puberty kind of hey, go in this room. Fuck
Learn.
For the first time, and then come out a new man or a new woman, whatever after the experience. And that's kind of one general thing. Some people think this is the underneath of a building that was placed on top, and these pillars are just supports for it, and that they're not penises, and that there was water underneath, and then that they built kind of like that. This was their food storage, and this water is how they kept it cool. And I guess
the boring explanation.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. There's penises everywhere, and it'd be really funny if this was just kind of their fuck room. I guess is kind of crazy that it is part of the conversation in archaeology right now. But so yeah, I thought even though Göbekli Tepe, I don't know, it's being covered up and stuff. I think it's because.
We have Karahan Tepe.
Yeah, they're like, what the fuck is going on over here? Because in the penis room, there's 10 bedrock penises, and then there's one T-shaped pillar that was brought in and placed there. And Göbekli Tepe, that was how they discovered it, is that there were just all these pillars sticking out of the ground. And then they were digging, they're like, holy shit, they're everywhere. And they're the things that have the animals carved on them, and stuff like that. And specifically at Karahan Tepe, there's a lot more humans and penises, but this one is it just kind of looks like a bird or some animal. It's not a human pillar. It's just one of them brought in. So people think because of this one pillar that was brought in, it feels more ritualistic or something else other than just like food storage is kind of why people are going crazy on it. But yeah, they still have a crap ton to dig, and discoveries are kind of coming out of this place like crazy all the time, instead of Göbekli Tepe now. So I'll keep my eye on Karahan Tepe from now on, because I gotta know what this room was. It's like this is the center of this complex. I mean, this is like. Yeah, it feels like it's their most important building. Like there's...
I mean, they tend to put churches towards the center of old civilizations like this, or temples of some sort.
That's true.
So like...
Because I guess the penis room is connected to a larger bigger
chamber.
And it is open and seemingly could be the church, and then this is the there's a back room where
how they feel God,
So, and the crazy thing about this is like this is 11,600 years ago, possibly 12,000 years ago. And whenever I was in school, I learned that civilization started 8,000 years ago in Mesopotamia when we first learned how to farm. But we're digging up these things that are like, we have massive cities, basically out of stone,
Right.
and we didn't, I don't know. So the Göbekli Tepe was discovered first, and it's legitimately rewriting history right now, which is kind of cool to live through. And stuff just seems to keep getting a little older, and humans were a little smarter than we give them credit for. But yeah, I guess that's all on Karahan Tepe, and I guess the transition is, I guess humans seem to be a lot smarter back then, but now, when we go into space, still we can fuck some shit up, which is kind of crazy. The Boeing Starliner mission, that was sent up a few months ago now. It was in June 5th that initially launched, which is crazy that I didn't hear about it until like now, whenever the problems were going on. But my teacher brought it up in class, and started talking about it. We actually had some problems over it, so it was in my brain, and I figured I'd have to at least mention it here. But the Boeing sends up a capsule with two astronauts in there, and they're only supposed to be in the space station for a week and a half to 2 weeks, and then just come back down to Earth. Just kind of like a proof of concept that Boeing can actually get to the space station.
Ha!
And then they realize, oopsies, some of our thrusters are broken, and we have a propellant leak. That liquid helium is leaking everywhere. And then, a couple days ago, the capsule just started emitting this weird, like, heartbeat signal, like that the astronauts were hearing, and they were like, there's like a recording of the Houston kind of, I don't know, talking to ground base, whatever, and they're like, hey, we're hearing this weird noise, and we don't know what's going on. We're going to try to relay it for you. And they didn't get it relayed at first, and they're like, we're not hearing anything. Are you sure you guys are okay? And then, like, they thought they were kind of going crazy at first, but then they actually got the sound to go through, and the ground base heard it, and they're like, oh, that's very interesting. We'll pass it on to the team, and we'll let you know what's going on. So I don't know if they actually ever found why it did that, but this thing is just, it's not made very well. And sadly, the only company or people that have really been able to get up to the space station consistently has been SpaceX.
SpaceX, right? Yeah.
Their next capsule isn't going up until like the earliest in February.
Damn.
These astronauts will be in the space station from June until February at the earliest, whenever they were supposed to be there for a week and a half. But you know, a lot of people see that as like, oh, they're stranded up in space. They're astronauts, you know. I feel like it probably does suck. They did not prepare for such a long trip, but they get to spend a long time in space. There is
literally no better people to be stuck in space than these two people.
I think that it was probably bad news at first, but then they're like, you know what? I'm like one of the only people who gets to live up in space for a long ass time.
Once you realize that this is your lot, once you realize this is the way things are going, I'm going to be here till February. Yeah, there will be days where it's like, wow, this fucking blows. You know, probably a lot of days where this fucking blows. I only see this motherfucker every day for months, you know. At least they can contact ground base, though. That's good. That means communications aren't totally shot. You know, like, that's... they're not completely... Like, so, I agree. It's obviously not ideal circumstances, but if there are any two people who could probably make the most of it, it's probably a couple astronauts. So,
they do live streams on YouTube all the time and stuff like that, and get community questions, and so they're gonna have to figure out stuff to do. Because I mean, the space station, it's actually being scheduled for destruction here soon. Like we're getting rid of it. And well, not with the astronauts on board. That's for sure. We will wait until everyone is back home and safe. But
what if that was like an actual deadline? Like they were like, dude, you got to get him out by December 31st, or we're gonna fucking blow that thing up.
We're getting rid of it. And yeah, it's SpaceX has been tasked with how to destroy the thing, because if you just let it kind of crash back into the atmosphere, that's a lot of just debris going everywhere. I don't know. It's an interesting problem to tackle of how to destroy the thing, but sadly, it's just kind of, we've gotten all the use out of it. There's not much more science that we can do up there. It's really just a money pit now. It's not very.
there are better places to spend that money. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sadly, we won't have like it's kind of the only place where China, Russia, and the U.S. all come together with no qualms whatsoever, because they realize if one person fucks anything up there, like it's done. It's
bad for everybody. Yeah.
So yeah, it is kind of a nice kind of the one place where we all ally together, but it's going away here soon. But we got to get those astronauts back.
Good.
That's we gotta get them back home. And I bet their
Bring
families
them home, boys.
Yeah, I don't know. I bet that's
kind of the
hardest
part.
That's
that's the part that's tough to tackle. But like I said, obviously again not ideal. But given that there are modes of communication, I'm sure that they've taken steps to be like, and come in once a week and we'll let you fucking talk to your dad or your husband or,
because there was a time that they were debating on actually sending them back in the Starliner itself with these problems. There was they were debating on whether it was still safe enough.
No, Boeing was considering shirking regulations and just going off of maybes.
They were like, well, and it's crazy that these same problems, the thrusters and the propellant leak, it's not like they're new problems that popped up out of nowhere. Before this thing launched, they experienced these problems, and then they kind of put Band-Aid fixes over them, and they're like, yeah, it's kind of good enough. And then the same exact problems come back up again right after launch. And so, yeah, it's...
Blow the whistle.
Man, it's kind of... I don't know what's going on over at Boeing, but it's not looking good.
I don't think I've heard a good story about Boeing in, ever.
No. Yeah, it's not been good. A lot of weird, shady shit going on, and just their planes are falling apart, and now they're...
people are fucking dying.
Yeah. So it used to be a company I wanted to work for.
A guy insisted, that whistleblower a few months ago insisted, if I die, I didn't kill myself.
That's crazy that even
and then weeks later, they were like, this guy committed suicide. And we're like, okay. And I suppose we're just supposed to go, all right, yeah, that's a thing we're doing now. Okay. Yeah. I'm not casting any accusations or anything. It's just there are circumstances which are interesting.
I'm staying away from Boeing. That's for sure. I'm not I don't know if I get an offer, and that's the only offer I have. I guess I'll go there and risk my life, maybe. But no, I don't think it's that serious for every employee. But yeah, I guess there's the Boeing news. It is scheduled.
Not that serious for every employee, as long as you keep your fucking mouth shut.
But the Starliner itself will come back to Earth with no humans in it. They are going to send it back. And if the thrusters don't work and it actually is fucked, it's just going to come into the atmosphere so fast that it is going to burn and blow up. And so, but NASA had to put out a statement being like, hey, don't worry. The space station's going to be fine. The Earth will be fine. There's no risk for anybody. It is all going to be fine. But for the Starliner itself, it probably won't survive.
Right.
But yeah, that's crazy that we have two astronauts just kind of stranded up there. Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore. I didn't say their names, but those are the two that are up there. And for quite a while.
I hope they'll be okay. And. Bring them home, boys.
Yeah.
I'm excited. That's an interesting story that I was curious when you were going to bring it up, because I was like, obviously whenever news came out that they were going to be up there for 6 months, I was like, well, we've got time. We can get around to it, I assumed at some point you would, so I'm glad you brought it up this week. But does that conclude the archaeology and science segment here?
That's it. That is all.
All right, then we will top off the show with a little sports segment here. We're going to talk some sports. Football time, baby. So far for week 1, I am 1-0 in my picks, as last night the Kansas City Chiefs defeated the Baltimore Ravens by centimeters. It was narrow. It was narrow. We looked very similar to last season. I say we as in the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm a Chiefs fan for those who are listening. We are from Kansas City. It's our hometown team. Won 27-20 in ugly fashion. It looked a lot like last season where we do not look good. We are making stupid bonehead fucking mistakes, but somehow we're winning by 10. I don't know how we're winning by 10, but we're winning by 10. And that's just kind of how the whole fucking game goes, you know? We are a bizarre team to watch in the regular season because it feels like we'll win somehow. You know, and then January rolls around and we're like, all right, time to lock in. You know, we're like, okay, we did just enough to win the division. Now let's go run shit. You know, like that's kind of how the Chiefs play, which is bizarre, but it works. Obviously we're going for a three-peat this season. And we've won 3 out of the last 5 Super Bowls. But
I think we just got so much talent. It's like, we can't really fuck up too much. Like you got to do something we have to fuck up royally to lose. But man,
no pun intended. 6-game losing streak there, or 7 or something. But
man,
the Royals. But
I only caught the end of the game, the very very end here, and I don't know. I'm glad. I felt like I was like a bad luck charm because I'm like, this is not look like we're winning. Kind of, I was doing homework. I'm looking over the score. We're winning the whole time.
That game looked like that the whole time.
Okay.
That's what's crazy. You know, you were watching going, wow, this doesn't seem like it's going well. That was the whole fucking game. You know, we had drives where it was like, obviously we were on our bullshit. We came out pretty hot. Rashee Rice looked ridiculously good. Like a viable first option. That's not Travis Kelce, which is super exciting. I like that we have somebody who looks like they're going to be good at receiving. That's not Travis Kelce. We've had that hole for a while now. He's always made it work. You know, Patrick Mahomes, he's always made it work. He always finds people. But last season, a crazy stat, last season we had 4 touchdowns. The entire season, 4 touchdowns that were longer than 20 yards.
Wow.
Last night we had 2, and they were Xavier Worthy.
Okay.
They were our rookie player who we just drafted, who's fast as shit. We were like, go ahead, get to the fucking end zone.
He's down there.
Dude, I fucking love that we've got Xavier Worthy on our team now, man. That is so fucking good. So like it was exciting enough. We ran some good offense as we were wont to do. Our defense looked pretty good. There were some pass coverages that just fucking fell apart, blew my mind. There was one on Nick Bolton was back in coverage against Likely, the Ravens tight end, and just got fucking lost, and Likely basically strolled in to get down near the end zone or in the end zone. Like, it was just like, oh my God, what are we doing here? That looked awful, but we did really good against the run. Derrick Henry did not get to do shit, which was a big concern with the Ravens. Like, they got a new running back, and they've got a stud running back. So, like, Lamar ran all over us.
Yeah. He did well for me. I guess I got him. I got him on my team.
In fantasy?
Yeah, sadly. So that was the only thing I was kind of like, if anyone does well, I guess he can rush a little bit and give me some points. But no, I was still rooting for the Chiefs.
At least you don't have. Sure. Oh yeah, of course. At least you don't have Mark Andrews or Travis Kelce. The tight ends did absolutely nothing last night.
Well,
you do have Mark Andrews, huh?
No, sadly, I do have Travis Kelce.
So do I. I have Travis Kelce as well. Got me 6 points, which fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, last night the players to have would have been Rashee Rice or Xavier Worthy or fucking Likely. That guy went fucking crazy for the Ravens, you know, like the other Ravens tight end who looks like he's probably going to be a more viable option than Mark Andrews. If they keep trotting Mark Andrews out there as essentially a glorified left tackle. But he's damn good at blocking, you know, so it's hard. We did not penetrate all fucking night. Lamar Jackson had all the time in the world. Our pass rush was horrendous. But our run defense was really good. You know, they schemed for Chris Jones hard because he didn't do shit. I think he got in there once. Lamar Jackson fumbled. We got the ball back. We immediately gave it back. It was so like we just could not manage to capitalize on turnovers during the game. They fumbled. We essentially went 3 and out. They gave the ball back to us. We went 3 and out. They miss a field goal. We go 3 and out. And it's like, dudes, come on now. So, and again, somehow we were winning the whole fucking game. Like, we were never down. Or we were down at the beginning when it was 7-0 when they scored on their first drive, and they carved us the fuck up on that first drive. But after that, we kind of locked in. But yeah, so it was a fun beginning of the season. Ugly fucking game on both sides, frankly. The Chiefs didn't just look bad. Like, there was a reason we were somehow winning. Like, the Ravens didn't look great. But it's the first game of the season. Kinks are getting ironed out. It is what it is. A lot of penalties, a lot of dumbass penalties. Not like as calls, but like, how are you making that mistake? Illegal formations and false starts and offsides and just like stuff that can't be happening, you know? But it was a good game. It was a good game to watch, and I'm excited for week 2. I'm excited for week 2. But with that, we can go ahead and do my first edition of week 1 picks in full and Thursday night week 2. So I am 1-0 as of right now. So obviously my word is bond. Obviously I know everything. The Chiefs beat the Ravens.
Undefeated season.
I'm on pace to go undefeated. There's no reason to believe I will get any of these wrong.
You were the oracle.
Exactly. No, this is not betting advice either, by the way. I don't even know the money lines. I don't know. Gambling's not legal in Missouri, so I don't even look into it because it's pointless for me. Now, it is kind of fun every once in a while to be like, what was the point total for this game? You know, like last night, it was 46.5. And they scored a total of 47. That's fucking crazy. That's fucking insane. I don't know how they do that, man. It blows my fucking mind. And that's why, like, that's the only scenario in which I look at the point total stuff. I'm like, how do you do that? I don't get it. I think that was the over-under last night. I might be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure it was. But there was also a 3-point margin, which if the Ravens would have scored at the end of the game and gone for 2 and missed, people who bet on the Ravens would have won their bet.
Man,
so
yeah, that game, the end there was very. I went through a roller coaster of emotions there because I thought he was in for sure.
Oh, like, dude, and Harbaugh's on the sideline pointing 2. He's like, "We're doing it," and I was going,
like, "Fuck!"
I was like, "Yep, that's game." I was like, "That's game. We lost." Yeah, and then they show the replay, and he's like, "My dad is so fucking funny when we're watching Chiefs games. He fucking kills me." He was like, "That's right, fucker. Get the fuck out." You know, like it's so goddamn funny. It always kills me. Always kills me. But yeah, so I'm 1-0 on my picks because of that catch that was just barely outside, just out of bounds. Chiefs over Ravens was my first pick of the week. I made that pick last Friday, as I will pick every Thursday game the Friday before. So I'll be doing week 1 and then the Thursday game for week 2 today. So tonight, actually, we have the game in Brazil, the Sao Paulo game. We got the Packers versus the Eagles. Unfortunate that the Philadelphia Eagles are losing a home game for this, but there's a international game every year. So, somebody has to agree to lose a fucking home game, and I feel like they do that years and years ahead of time. But I'm going with the Packers here. I'm going with the Packers over the Eagles. I like the Packers a lot. They had a really hot ending to the season last year. The Eagles had a little bit of a messy offseason. The coaching staff doesn't seem to be getting along with the quarterback, and they lost Jason Kelce, who basically ran their offense, and Saquon Barkley is a great addition, but how much can you do behind a line that's taken a hit like that? And it's just there's a few too many unknowns for me with Philly, whereas the Packers are essentially the same team, if not better. So like I'm going the Green Bay Packers for tonight's Friday night game. And then we've got the Panthers at Saints. I think the Saints are going to be god awful. I don't think the Panthers are going to be very good either. I think we're looking at the worst division in the NFL here. But I'm going to go Panthers because I just historically like the Panthers more than the Saints. I like to root for young quarterbacks, and I want the kid that's in Carolina, I think Bryce Young. I want him to do well. So hopefully he can get a good start to the season. And I think that the Saints head coach is a bozo, so that's that. Vikings at Giants is the next one. I'm going Vikings again. The Giants, if there is any team in the league that I will probably never pick, it's the Giants. Giants and Patriots, and if they face each other, I'm fucked. I don't know. I will probably go with the Giants, which says a lot about the Patriots this season. But yeah, the Giants are. I can't bet on Daniel Jones. He's horrendous, and Sam Darnold isn't a ton better for the Vikings. But like, I'll take it. You know, I think that the Vikings are going to be the best, worst, the best last place in their division team. I think the NFC North is fucking stacked with the Packers, Lions, and Bears and Vikings. I anticipate all three of those teams will go above 500. I think Vikings will get the short end of the stick and barely finish below 500. And they will somehow get fourth in their division where they probably would have gotten third or second in other ones is kind of how I look at it. So,
yeah, I don't know. I can't believe we're still doing divisions.
Right.
And just, it's still a thing in sports, like for baseball and I don't know, even just
it's very important for the playoff contention. It's just nice and neat. It makes sense.
Just take the top best teams of the
top
season.
8 teams.
I can't take the best ones.
I can't say that I disagree with that. But yeah, all right. So I'm taking Vikings over Giants there. I just think the Giants are shit. Patriots at Bengals. Bengals, no fucking doubt. Jamar Chase not having his contract doesn't matter. Don't care. They're better than the Patriots. The Patriots are fucking awful. Steelers at Falcons. This is a tough one because the Falcons is a little bit of an unknown. They've got Kirk Cousins at quarterback this season. The Steelers, their O-line looks like shit, but they're tough to bet against. Like, it's the Steelers. You know, it's Mike Tomlin. They tend to figure it out. But I am going to go with the Falcons. I am going to take that risk. It is at Atlanta, and the home team. You know, whenever I have that tough, like, I don't know, I tend to go with the home team just because home field advantage is a real fucking thing. And it feels, you know, the Bengals are coming off a lot of momentous seasons. Or the Falcons are, my bad, I was looking at the Bengals. Falcons, Atlanta's a good environment. Mercedes Stadium is beautiful. It's a dome. It's loud. I anticipate the Falcons will go to work. I have faith Kirk Cousins will have a good time there. Texans at Colts is the next one. This was a particularly tough one because the Texans are also coming off of a hot season. I think the Texans are going to be really good, but they're still young. They're coming together. They just got Stephon Diggs. I don't really know, but the Colts have a little bit too much of an unknown thing going on at quarterback for me. Anthony Richardson, I don't really know how he's going to be. Whereas I know CJ Stroud's a fucking stud for Houston. So I am going to go Texans. I think they're going to be a surprising contender in the AFC this season. I like them. Texans over Colts. Cardinals at Bills. I'm going Bills. I think the Cardinals will be good this season with Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. and all the fun stuff going on there. But the Bills are the Bills. They tend to do really well in the regular season. I'm going the Bills, and it's at Buffalo. Their environment's crazy. Titans at Bears. This is one of the funnest games of the week. I'm very excited for this one because it's Caleb Williams making his debut as a Bear, his debut in the NFL, the number 1 overall pick. Very, very exciting stuff. I think that they've got a great season ahead of them. Like I already mentioned, the NFC North, probably my favorite division in football. Whenever I think about football, I mean, Bears, Packers, Lions, Vikings, like that's fucking football right there. You know what I'm saying? So like, the Bears, I like the Bears a lot. I've always wanted them to be good, even though they're not, even though they're historically bad. Hopefully Caleb Williams can get them to those markers that they've been lacking. They're the only team in the league that's never had a 4,000 yard passer, or a 30 touchdown passer, which is insane. Blake Bortles threw for 30 touchdowns in a season, man. Like that's how on earth have they never had a 30 touchdown pass? So like, I'm hoping Caleb Williams can get them there. I think this year will be a little rougher than people are expecting, but I do think they'll win 8-9 games, and I think they will beat the Titans. This is again one of those things where the Titans are just an unknown, have no idea what they're going to look like. The Bears are exciting. I think they got a lot of momentum. I think they're excited. It's a big deal. I don't usually bet with rookie quarterbacks, but I like the Bears. So and it's more of a want. Yeah, da Bears.
Da Bears.
Da Bears.
I love the Bears. That's football for me. I don't know why.
Yeah.
The Bears are the most football team I don't know why, but
I'm there. I'm there with that. And they're an exciting team, man. So like, it's more a want. I want them to be good, so I want them to come out and beat Tennessee. I want them to do that. I think that would be an exciting. I think that if the Lions, Packers, and Bears are good, it's good for football. And that division being as stacked as it is could be a lot of fun. So I want the Bears to be good. Jaguars at Dolphins. The Florida teams meeting. It's tough. I think the Jaguars are going to be a little better than people expect this season, but not good enough to beat the Dolphins in week 1. The Dolphins are good. Not much to say there. Broncos at Seahawks. I'm going Seahawks. They're at home against a rookie quarterback, and the Seahawks, if it's not the Chiefs and it's not Arrowhead, are known for having the loudest stadium in the league. So like, it's just a lot. Bo Nix is probably going to be a stud for the Broncos. I think he's going to be really, really good. But like I said, week 1, rookie quarterbacks, I'm rarely going to go with the rookie quarterback to win his first game. It's just not a reliable bet there. So I'm going Seahawks over Broncos. Raiders at Chargers. This is going to be a good fucking game. The AFC West always manages to play each other close, with a few exceptions, of course. But I'm going Chargers. I'm excited for Justin Herbert and Harbaugh to be the combo of coach quarterback in Los Angeles there. I think the Raiders don't know they're bad yet. And they are. They're bad. And don't get me wrong, the Chargers aren't going to be great this season either, but they are a couple of teams that will be good in the seasons to come. They're like, I think they're just a little ahead of themselves. Like, they think that they are going to be good right now, and I don't think they're going to be good right now. I think next season the Chargers will be a problem. I think next season the Chargers will be fucking good. But coming up against each other, it's a good way to open the season. I'm going Chargers, though. All right. Cowboys at Browns. I'm going Cowboys. I don't even really need to elaborate. If you have Deshaun Watson at quarterback, you're going to fucking lose. Next up, Commanders at Bucks. I wanted to go Commanders because they seem exciting, but again, you got the rookie quarterback going into Tampa Bay with Jaden Daniels, and Jaden Daniels is little, small frame. I think he's good, he's skilled, but just not a safe bet against a team that's pretty seasoned and established and has been to the playoffs and won their division, and it's just the Tampa Bay Bucks are the safe bet there, even though I hope the Commanders have a good season. And then the Sunday night and Monday night games are very, very interesting. They did a great job picking out the primetime games to open up the season, because Sunday night is Rams versus Lions at Detroit. Super excited for that one. I'm going Lions. I've got the NFC North sweeping to open the season with the Packers, Vikings, Bears, and Lions winning week 1. But this will be an interesting game. I like Dan Campbell. I like the Lions. I think that they're going to be in the NFC Championship again. So I'm going Lions. Jets at Niners. 49ers, that is. A lot of people think that this is going to be a problem game, that the Jets are going to come out and give the 49ers a bit of an issue with Aaron Rodgers back, and they signed, they made a couple good additions in the offseason. I'll believe it when I fucking see it. Aaron Rodgers hasn't been good in 4 years. He didn't play but 4 snaps last season before he tore his Achilles. They want to talk about how the 49ers had a messy offseason. I don't think anybody's had a messier 2 years in sports than Aaron fucking Rodgers. So, like, I'm going to bet against Aaron Rodgers every chance I get. I do not like the guy. I don't like Aaron Rodgers. But I do, and I don't tend to like the 49ers either, but they're a better team than the Jets. Like, a lot of people, they want me to believe that the Jets are going to be good this season. No, I don't buy that. They won't be good. They're the fucking Jets, And if I'm wrong, I'll eat my fucking words. But, like, the Jets are historically bad, and they will continue to be historically bad. That's kind of how I look at it. Aaron Rodgers at 40 years old isn't the saving grace, Like, they've got a lot of good weapons, a lot of great weapons. Like, they could be solid. But Aaron Rodgers isn't the guy that's going to be like, well, that's why. No, like, it is what it is.
Yeah, it feels, the only reason I feel like I I would want him to do well is like he feels like the only quarterback left that's like from the era that I grew up watching people. So it's like that's the only thing. But like I like to
him
see
and Matt Stafford.
But true.
But Matt Stafford got his ring, so like that's why I'm like I would like to see Matt Stafford get there again, but
yeah, do I want to see the Jets win a Super Bowl though? Probably
nah.
not. I don't know. I don't have much interest in that.
A Jets versus Chiefs AFC Championship would be cool though. I think I'd be into that. But yeah, those are my picks for week 1. And week 2 for the Thursday night game, we've got the Bills versus the Dolphins. It's at Miami. And in September, still nice out and everything. Miami could give the Bills some problems, and that's what I would like to see. But the Bills are the Bills, man. The Bills are good. You know what? I'm going to go Miami. I'm going to go Miami for the Thursday night game. I haven't given that one a lot of thought. Obviously, we'll see what happens in week 1. There's a little bit of a risk picking the Thursday games after week 1 because I don't even know what the teams fucking look like. It could come out and I could be like, wow, the Dolphins look like fucking shit. But
True.
Just based off of what I'm seeing, I don't know who's going to get hurt this week, if anybody will. I hope nobody does, but that's a possibility. That could change the pick. Regardless, as of right now, I'm going to go with the Dolphins over the Bills. And those are my week 1 and Thursday night game picks. So that's something you can expect weekly during the football season, baby. But
I wrote them down. I'm putting in a long fliff parlay for the free $1, and who knows it's going to turn it. I mean, with all of them, if you get it right, I mean I'll split the bill, or I might even give you it all. Honestly, if you get it freaking. I don't even know how many games that is, parlay straight. That would be impressive. I'd really call you the Oracle after that if
15 games. 15 games. Every team plays week 1. Yeah, no, I mean that'd be cool. I don't expect to. There's a couple games I'm not super confident in. I could have gone either way. But hey, if I come out the gate with my first set of picks and go 16-0, hard to complain. Yeah, so that's that there. Let's just very quickly go over our fantasy football teams. Give me your starting lineup. We don't have as much time as I thought we would, but I guess like a little little preview.
My main draft, sadly, the traitor Tyreek Hill. I have on my team. He gets points. So
he's good.
Yeah, I have Tyreek and Lamar Jackson. The week 1 quarterback against us and the traitor Tyreek. I feel just terrible. And then, of course, the one chief I do have, Travis Kelce, just doesn't really do too well for me. But that's okay. But I got Saquon Barkley. I got Mike Evans, DK Metcalf, Stephon Diggs, George Kittle. I don't know, just some to name some, but I chose my name. I had to make fun of Tyreek in some way because he is the traitor, and I went with the cheating on my wife. Is what I went with. My brother has him in another league, and I think he's like the Tyreek daycare or something like that. I had no idea that the dude has like 8 baby mamas or something like that.
A lot of kids.
So, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm chilling.
It's always fun the week to week. I like to change my team name weekly, and it's based on a pun for somebody on my team.
Okay.
So my starting lineup this week is Josh Allen at QB, Jahmyr Gibbs, the Detroit running back, Breece Hall, the New York running back, Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs, a wide receiver, Travis Kelce at tight end, got me 6 points. DJ Moore in the flex, 49ers defense, and Jake Elliott at kicker. But my team name is actually based off of a guy on my bench, which is Malik Neighbors, the rookie for the New York Giants. And I went with the Mr. Rogers. Hi there, neighbors. I like that.
I like the idea of changing the name weekly. I didn't even know that was an option. I thought
it's a tradition me and my dad partake in. We like to get that going. I'm trying to see if damn, this is not okay. Yeah, my fantasy app's not doing well right now. I can't load it up, but we all have pun names is kind of how we play, how we always do it. my brother's he's got Bijan Robinson, so his name is Bed Bath and Bijan.
Wow. My brother, he has him as well, and he's Obijan Kenobi.
That's good. That's good.
And so I was pretty proud of him for throwing in a Star Wars reference there for the team name. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if he changes his name or if he's sticking with that the whole season. But I think I'll go ahead and maybe start that tradition myself. I like that.
Yeah, because I'm facing my brother week 1. That's also important to note. I'm in a 5-man league, so that's why it's like stacked. Everybody's got a really good fucking team. That's why it's also not super high stakes, but like it is what it is. It's fun. It's fun to participate in. But yeah, I think that with that we can go ahead and conclude this edition of the Penny Bloom Dispatch, and we'll be back next Friday for some more NFL, some more entertainment. Some more archaeology or sciences, and you can be here, and we would love if you would join us. So if you would, at patreon.com/PennyBloomPod, where you'll find over 50 hours of exclusive content, all sorts of book reviews, comic book reviews, movie reviews, and the like. We had early editions of the Penny Bloom Dispatch up over there. Basically, all that is now is supporting the podcast for $1.50 a month. It costs me money to put it on. I don't make any off of it unless it's over there. It's a huge help. We would appreciate if you head to Twitter, follow at PennyBloomPod for anything we might be doing. We got a lot going on. We're doing Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast on Wednesdays. We've got Death by Television starting here in a couple weeks when the Penguin gets rolling. Fridays here in a couple weeks, we're going to be starting the Sentimentalists. Or wait, no, that's Wednesdays now. Fridays. Fridays is what we committed to. Fridays for everything. So the Sentimentalists will be coming here in a few weeks. And actually, me and my dad have been talking about maybe doing something of our own, semi-weekly. I think it could be fun. We're no hardcore thing set there yet. We plan on recording something within the next couple days. No idea how frequent that would be. No idea what the exact subject matter would be, but it would be me and my dad. So be kind of on the lookout. Not sure if it'll go up on the Penny Bloom feed or if it'll go on its own thing. But regardless, you know where it'll end up if you were following at Penny Bloom Pod on Twitter. And you can leave a 5-star rate and review and download wherever you might be listening. I'd appreciate it greatly. But yeah. Come on back next week for more Dispatch. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, peace, love, and bloom, and always praise those Kansas City Chiefs.